What is up, everybody? Renfail here. Hopefully, you are doing well. It is time to get back to another episode of our series on how to make a living. And I'm bringing up some pages behind the scenes here. And we are going to straight back to questions from the announcement video. Down in the comments section, we have a question from Deld1371. Can you please show actual money earning and traffic trends? And can you also provide a realistic perspective on how long it takes for a content creator in video games to gain traction? Is it like 4,000 followers a year, or what would it be? So let's talk about the follower thing first, and then we can talk trends because trends are a thing, but they are always short-lived things, and you should not be basing your entire strategy on trends because that's a failing strategy. Your number one strategy is going to be consistency. Day in, day out, have a goal, set the goal, stick to the goal. My goal has always been a minimum of 8 videos a day on YouTube. That has always been my minimum because I've always looked at this and said, excuse me, I'm going to work 8 hours a day minimum at this, and I do 1 video per hour. I could put 8 videos per day onto YouTube. 8 videos a day times 365 days a year, it just builds up over time. Now, um, these days I do a lot more than 8 videos a day, but that's because I've expanded to do different things now, and I have a system that works very well for me. And I can create things in bulk, which is something that I didn't know how to do in the beginning, and I know how to do now, and I've adapted my strategies accordingly. But that was my goal. And you have to have a goal. Your goal might not be 8 videos a day. Your goal might be 1 video a day, but you have to have a goal. You have to be consistent. Consistency wins the day, not following trends. Trends are important to know when to take advantage of, and we'll get to that in a minute. So let's talk followers. I've spoken about this in the previous episodes and many times on live streams based upon my previous experience helping build brands and working in the marketing industry and the influencer industry. Generally speaking, 2 to 3 years is what it takes for most brands to get to the point where they're bringing in significant traction, significant income, a significant amount of growth. It could be a lot more than 4,000 followers a year. It just depends on the channel. But if you're doing your job right and you're doing all the things you're supposed to do, which is publishing videos, streaming, and doing all of your shorts creation on all of your different social media networks, and you're doing that every single day without fail, working every single spare moment you have and never taking a day off unless you're sick or in the hospital, if you're doing that religiously and like you're supposed to, putting the time in, you will see growth. It's just based on how much time you can put in. So I can take you through my personal journey on this channel as an example of, but it is not the only way. Some people do it faster, some people do it slower. I will reiterate what I said yesterday, excuse me, which is anybody who tries to sell you a quick get rich quick scheme or get many followers quick scheme, they're selling you something. Like, don't believe it. It's not consistency. Consistency is it. And it takes time to build things up. Dino, who I've talked about on stream before, if you don't know who Dino is, let me pull him up on TikTok. He has a great story about how it took him 16 years to get to 100,000 followers on YouTube. And then once he got to 100,000 followers on YouTube, it blew up over the course of like 2 years, and he got to a couple of million after that. But it did take time for him to get up to that point. Let me go find Dino so that you know who I'm talking about. Dino Roman. Um, he's got a couple of million on. It's not gonna focus worth a damn, is it? Focus, focus. It's not gonna focus. Anyway, Dino Roman has a really cool. Dino Cornell. Um, he's got a really cool story. Took him 16 years to get to 100,000 on YouTube, and then it blew up over the course of a couple of years. Everybody's gonna have a breaking point, but it can take time to build up to certain things. I'm at 54,000 followers after basically 3 years, 3.5 years of doing this full time. So I don't know if it's going to take me 16 years or 5 years to get to 100,000. Everybody's journey is different, but I can tell you my journey on my channel and how that has been so far. So we can actually open up this screen right here, and I can show you guys what my journey looked like. So I had my YouTube channel. This YouTube channel got started all the way back in 2018. I didn't do anything with it. I created the channel because it was my username, and I just let it sit for years. Then in 2021, I think up until that point, I had told my friends and my family. So it was literally my brother, my sister-in-law, my sister, my cousins, my, you know, family and friends, their dogs, all those people. I had like 100 people following. And then at the beginning of 2021, I said, you know what? I'm going to start regularly posting on my YouTube channel and sort of try to build that up for my own personal brand. I didn't have any goals with it yet. I was just like, I'm going to regularly start posting content. So I started putting like, a video per week, sometimes a couple videos per week. It was some developer diaries, old school stuff. I was playing like Betrayal at Krondor and Quest for Glory and like really old stuff. And nothing of consequence that would gain any significant traction. But I started putting up old Baldur's Gate playthrough, Baldur's Gate 1 Enhanced Edition, Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition, and I started doing Let's Play series for those games. And slowly over the course of 2021, I built up about 700 additional followers. And by the beginning of 2022, as we can see here, I was getting up to 670. And the breaking point for me was in February. We'll see here, I suddenly start ramping up. And that's because in February of that year, um, I did a reaction video to the Rings of Power Super Bowl trailer. It was the first Rings of Power Season 1 trailer. And that video went viral for me. And it got like 50,000 views in the course of like a couple of days and a boatload of new subscribers. And that was my first trend. And because I had been doing it for many other brands and many other accounts over the years, I knew when to pounce on that trend. And so I immediately, there's a few things that happened at that point in time, but I want to walk you through how that worked for me. Um, in February, I had finished up a contract for a startup, and Chris and I had bought the homestead in October of 2021. So we already owned the homestead at that point. January, we were in the city, finished up a contract, and was sitting there going, do I look for other work? What do I want to do? I was at a position where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do at the moment. February rolled around. Um, I did that reaction video. I got a bunch of traffic and I got monetized. My channel got monetized in February of 2022. And I said, fuck it. I'm going all in on my YouTube channel because I know how to do this. I've been doing it for other people. I know how long it's going to take. I gave myself 3 years. So I had 3 years of money saved up in the savings that I was allowed to tap into. If it was going to take me longer than 3 years, that I could go back and do what I had been doing for the past 25 years, which was freelancing and doing, game development and photography, videography, marketing, consulting, public speaking, all the things I'd been doing as a career up until that point for 20 plus years. So I wasn't going to be a starving artist, which was a nice place for me to be. I had an established career with a lot of connections, and it wasn't really a risk for me to jump in the water and do it. It was just a decision to do it, and let's do this, right? So that was my first trend. And so what I did is I jumped on the Rings of Power reaction video, and then I spun out a boatload of Rings of Power content over the next 6 months leading up to the first season of Rings of Power. Now, in between that, I started streaming on a pretty much daily basis as soon as we moved in. February and March, we were moving, we got settled in, there were some internet hiccups, but basically, I want to say it was like by the end of March of 2022, I was streaming every single day. Now, I was only streaming for about 2 hours a day. Mostly, I was focused on creating content. And that first trend for me was Rings of Power. And I milked that gravy train all the way till the end of season 1. And it did very good for me. And you can see that once the train started rolling, I went from, gaining like 700 followers over that first year of public publishing like 1 or 2 videos a week, to then publishing every single day, like 8 videos a day. And it wasn't all Rings of Power, but I was trying to do at least 2 Rings of Power videos every single day, plus playthroughs and guides and other things and live streams. And I started ramping up. And by the end of 2022, we can see that essentially I earned right around 5,000 additional followers. So I gained about 5,000 followers in 2022. Then 2023 hit, and we had a continual nice slow growth. And then we got to somewhere in here, I want to say it was January. You're going to hear cats. They're fighting over the bed right now. Somewhere around January of 2023 was the D&D fiasco with or maybe that was the following year. I don't remember when that was actually. Maybe that wasn't that year. Anyway, 2023 was a ramp up until June. June was when Baldur's Gate 3 announced that it was going to move its launch window up by a month. And I, having pre ordered Baldur's Gate 3 back in October of 2021 or whenever it was primed and ready and jumped on that and started playing early access. And I saw a massive spike because of Baldur's Gate 3. So Baldur's Gate 3 was my second trend. I rode that trend hard and heavy, and created just like all day, every day. I was streaming Baldur's Gate 3 for several hours a day, and then just I was cutting all of those into 30-minute episodes. I was making guides, I was doing combat videos, I was doing, short content. I was doing all sorts of stuff around Baldur's Gate 3, and we went from at the beginning of the year we had, 5,700 followers, and then by the end of 2023 we had 22,000. So I gained a lot. It was what? I can't do math. 15,000 plus followers, that year. Now there was other stuff that happened after Baldur's Gate 3, which continued to have me great success. Like we had Starfield launched, Cyberpunk 2077 had its Phantom Liberty DLC. Those were games that also gave me good trends. In between that, I was playing lots of other things. I play lots of games, um, but definitely trends in there. And then we get to 2024. And then in 2024, we started the year with 23,000 followers, and we end up the end of 2024 with basically 45,000 essentially. So we gained a boatload, and you can see it ramps up considerably in that third year. And then this year, we started the year off with January 45,000. We're almost 55,000, so we're about 10,000 in. I haven't seen any big spikes this year so far. It's been just nice, slow and steady, and we're about 10,000 followers new in 2025 on YouTube. Now, I also have Twitch, which is going on. I started multi-streaming on Twitch in October of the year before, October 20. I gotta think about this. We're almost 2 years in. So October 2023 was when I started multi-streaming on YouTube, or excuse me, on Twitch. And I have now, I think we're up to. I gotta go look. I gotta shut this down. Hang on. What am I at on Twitch? It's gonna take me to my dashboard, and I don't want to show the dashboard here because there's stuff that I'm not allowed to show. Where am I at? Twitch wise. Twitch is a much slower growth. I'm at 4,260 after like close to 2 years. And a lot of that growth came from like there was a big boost of like 1,000 followers in June of this year due to Dune Awakening, which was a trend for me. Dune Awakening was a trend on Twitch. Up until that point, my Twitch had been a very slow, steady, 50 followers a month type thing. And then we get to Dune Awakening, and suddenly my streams go from having 15 to 20 people watching the streams up to, we had like 375 people per stream multiple days. We had a whole bunch of days with like 180 people per stream just on Twitch. And then like I think we showed like June of 2025 was our biggest year financially ever, and our biggest month, excuse me, um, in all places, but like specifically Twitch. Hang on, I gotta hang now. I'm clipping here. Twitch had a bang out month in June of 2025 because of the launch date. And I published a boatload of Dune content, and I rode that wave hard for like 6 weeks before it finally petered out. So let me swing back around to talk about the numbers a little bit more. So, um, I've had many, many, many waves. I don't call them trends, I call them waves, but this is what you're referring to. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. You'll know when you hit a trend because you'll have like your daily averages across every platform. Oh, I know what. Before I move on, this is where me getting sidetracked. Twitch, slow and steady. TikTok, I started doing daily shorts like in January of this year, and I've slowly built up. We're closing in on 4,000 followers. Instagram was much slower, but then I had a viral hit a couple weeks back that has earned me like 8,000 followers in the course of like 2 weeks, and that's a trend. And the trend was hitting back against the trolls and doing so there are trends. You're going to notice them. So you'll notice a trend happens because you'll have videos. You'll know what your daily average is. It's going to be different for everybody. But as you upload things and build your library, you're going to eventually settle into a pattern, and you're going to say, okay, my normal videos do this. Then you're going to upload a video that suddenly does 10 times that, and it's going to do it quick. That video is going to rock it up. And instead of doing this, it's going to do this. When you see that happens, you absolutely immediately need to do a follow-up video on the same exact thing, the same exact topic, continue the conversation, find a different thing about the conversation, hammer in on that trend, and definitely lean into that trend, that wave, um, for as long as you can. But I can promise you this: waves never last. Trends always disappear. You will never find a wave that just keeps on going forever. The YouTube and Twitch dance of social media is this. Content creation is this: peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. What I always look at the end of every given year is, did I have net gain? That's the most important thing to me. So, like, I can go back to my YouTube follower list and I can see net gain at the end of every single year, even if, and here's the thing, even if some months you have less followers than other months, some months you have more followers than other months, some months you have more traffic, some months you have less traffic, etc., 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 you're always going to be doing this. What you're looking for is that at the end of the year, did I have net growth? Do I have more followers than I started out with? Did I make more money this year than last year? Theoretically you should be, because you're adding more videos to your catalog and you're streaming more games and you're building up your live stream audience. Like right now, as an example, um, my average minimum for most streams across YouTube and Twitch, generally speaking, if I'm playing, and this is a key, if I'm playing new games, my minimums are 60 to 80 people watching. Older games, it's going to be lower. It's going to be 40-ish. So I have a minimum of 40 people who will watch me no matter what I play, and then generally speaking, I'll have a minimum of 60 to 80 people who will watch all the new games that I play. And then I have spikes around that, where sometimes if it's a brand new game, the first, and let's look back to trends as well. The first few days of any given launch, I'm always going to have 150 plus. Sometimes it's 300 people plus, but that never lasts, and they always go away. So I'll talk more about that trend in a minute. Um, so, but I can go back to like here and remember back when I was streaming in 2022 when I had 6 people watching me on YouTube. And then it was 9 people, and then it was 13 people, and then it was 21 people, and then it was 27 people, and then it was 30. The numbers go up over time because you build an audience. All right, so let's go back to launch trends, because we just talked about like when you see a wave, ride the wave. One of the trends is going to be anytime you see a video that takes off, um, ride that wave for as long as you can. It's never going to last. The second trend, these are two tied together. The second and third trends are tied together. One is new releases. Anytime there is a new release of a video game, generally speaking, um, if you play that game at launch, you're going to see a spike of traffic around that game because it's new. People want to watch new. They're interested in new. Um, there is always going to be the most traffic on launch day and then the following 2 days. I have noticed just over a trend of many years of doing this now is that the first 3 days of any launch title are going to be the best, and then after that, it gradually dies off, and it takes about 2 weeks for my audience, the audience that I have built up, it takes about 2 weeks before people reach the point where they're just kind of bored of watching. It can be less than that, but generally speaking, it's about 2 weeks is when people are ready to move on to the next thing. And if you haven't moved on to the next thing, they're going to go watch someone else who is doing the next thing. That's not your core audience, but that's the general audience who will tune in to many of the things you do. They want to watch you do different things if you're a variety content creator, which I am. They're not here to watch me do one thing all the time. So I get about a 2 week window before I need to move on and do other things. The second part of that is early access periods. Always, if you're a content creator, you should always, 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 always be taking advantage of any sort of head start access or early access for a. Hang on. Let me phrase this differently because some people are going to get confused by what I mean by early access. So let's just say head start access so we're not confusing people. If there is a head start access for any video game you play, what I mean by that is a 3-day head start or a 5-day head start to play the game ahead of launch. So if the launch is on a Friday and you get to start playing on a Monday and you're playing the game 3 days or 4 days or 5 days before all the other people get a chance to play, take advantage of that. Spend the extra money on it. If the base game is $50 and you have to pay 80 to get access to the Head Start launch, fucking do it. And the reason is because by being live in that limited window within which not as many people are going to be playing the game and many people are waiting for the launch day of the game, they're waiting for their paychecks and everything else, your stream numbers and your content creation numbers will be higher than they will be than that launch window. That launch window being launch day and the 2 days following. Even better than that launch window is that head start window, which is the 3 to 5 days of early access, head start access that you get if you order like the premium edition of any given game, which is why I will always do it. Plus, it's a tax deduction. There's reasons for it. Early access is something different. That's another development term. We're not talking about early access games where you go play like an early access version of a game. We're talking about the head start access. So I need to make sure that that point is completely crystal clear. I'm not talking early access editions of games. I am talking early access to the launch version of the game, the head start access. That is always worth it. That is a trend that will always get you more traffic because you're going to be live when not a lot of other people are, and then go from there. So trends work, waves happen, they go up, they go down, they last a few days, up to a maximum of 2 weeks, and then you're off to the next wave. Not every wave is going to be as big as the wave before, but generally speaking, if you're doing your job and you're working hard and you're taking advantage of those things when they happen, um, you will get thousands of followers per year. And it blows up for different people. Like different people have different rates of growth. My rate of growth is not Dino's rate of growth. Darth Microtransaction had a ridiculously massive growth spurt with like, um, I think it was Diablo 4 or something like that. I think it was Diablo 4. Other guys, like I know everybody hates him these days, but like Pirate Software had he was slowly and steadily grinding his way up through like 7 years. And then he started publishing a lot of YouTube shorts. Those shorts went viral. His YouTube channel went from 15,000 followers to 2 million followers over the course of a single year. And he went from having like 400 to 500 people average in his streams to 15,000 people average in his streams over the course of a year because of a bunch of YouTube shorts going viral. Um, those are things that can happen. They are not guaranteed successes. You should never use the unicorn examples as an example of how quickly you're going to earn your way up there. But it's worth noting that those things can happen, but it's rare. In most cases, it's just a slow, steady grind. But if you're doing your job correctly and you're working hard at it every single day, you will see several thousand followers per year across all of your networks, and you will see slow and steady growth. Um, There are also other factors that can go into that. Do you have a personality that you're playing on stream? Some people like watching personalities. I personally don't. I much prefer like watching a down to earth, realistic person. I don't like to watch personalities stream. Um, it's not my thing. But there are gimmicks and things that you might want to do. There's that couple who play World of Warcraft together who like wear full on dwarven like makeup and wigs and stuff, and that's their gimmick, that's their shtick, that's their personality that they put on before they stream. Um, there's many different people who have personalities when they stream, and that's something that can get you significant growth if you're gonna be obnoxious in front of the camera. But I've always, you know, much more preferred the just realistic daily approach. This is who I am in real life. This is who I am on camera. Like there's really no difference between me on camera and in real life. I'm just as blunt. I'm older. I don't care. Like it's just I'm here. It's like this is just the next thing I'm doing. This is literally the horse that I'm gonna ride in the final stages of my last hoorah to retirement is like this right here. And so I'm just, I was telling somebody this the other day, like I've been making money online with a public facing persona since 2008. I will continue to have a online persona that makes me money. Um, and I'm when I say by persona is not a personality, but I am online like an this is me like but my avatar is out there, and I have made money online by being in front of a camera since 2008, and I will continue to do that until I decide that I'm just done and I just want to completely retire, and I don't know when that'll be because the next stage for me is already planned out. Like the next stage for myself is when we buy the forever home property, and that is going to be my next YouTube channel will be well, that'll be the homestead channel will evolve into that, which will be the reconstruction of that property and the building of that house, which will include an artist um, um, like a Chris wants an art studio to paint and sculpt and play guitar, and I want my writer's den with a fireplace and a cool mountain view and a place to just finish my final years going back to what I did before this, which was writing science fiction and fantasy full time. And all of that will be documented in some format. It might not be YouTube, it might be whatever's the next platform in VR. I don't know what it'll take, but I've been making money online in a public facing manner since 2008, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. So this is just the latest iteration of it, the evolution. So, um, yeah, hopefully that answered all of the comments. Like I said, it's not really so much about trends as it is about you're just showing up to work every single day and you're doing what you do anyway. And because you're doing that every single day, you're primed and ready to take advantage of those waves when they happen. Because if you're already in you know, the bucket seat and you're doing 3 to 5 videos a day or 5 to 8 videos a day or 10 videos a day, whatever it is that you're doing on top of your streams, you're already used to that routine. So then just when a game pops off, you're going to do what you do anyway. It's just rather than do it around other things, you're going to hone in and focus on that one thing for that 8 to 10 days or whatever that you're going to get the massive traffic out of it, and then finish up that game and move on to the next one. Literally the way that I do it these days, I don't really focus too much on I don't have to worry too much about the waves because I know that they happen. And so literally what I just do is I say I want to play that game, I want to play that game, I want to play that game. So like this month we played Death Stranding 2, Dune Awakening, Neverwinter Nights 2, Enhanced Edition, and Destiny 2. Just this month. And then tomorrow I'm starting Grounded 2, Tales of the Shire. So we played 6 games in June. All right. Different traffic for all of those. The best was definitely Dune Awakening, right? I won't know what Grounded 2 and Tales of the Shire are like until tomorrow when I play both of those games. I would anticipate that I'll have decent traffic around Tales of the Shire because I have a pretty built-in Lord of the Rings Online audience. Um, Grounded 2, I'm not so sure. We'll see how that goes. But it's Obsidian. We love Obsidian. It's a survival game. Those are usually pretty popular. Next month, Mafia: The Old Country, and which I anticipate will be okay, but it's also going to be a short one, so that'll be a very short window. And then I'm probably going to do a KOTOR replay in August, which I know will be fairly popular. Um, like when I did the Mass Effect playthrough in January, usually like if I have dead space, I'll go play something that I know is going to do well with my audience. So that's another topic for another time. Um, the point I'm making is that I play enough new games these days, and that's one of the reasons. Actually, I can ramble about this for a few more minutes longer. Um, if you go back to the very very beginning of my channel, I did a lot of old school MMORPGs and old school games. But what I noticed was that the growth was very slow and stagnant because of that, because I wasn't doing anything new, and their audience for those old school things is much smaller than it is for new projects. And when I switched over to playing new games, which was a strategic decision on my part, I noticed an immediate jump in the numbers because I was focusing on things that people were actively interested in, a much bigger audience. And so because of that, generally speaking, I focus on new releases these days. So, news articles, reaction trailers, head start access, the actual gameplay, guides, tips and tricks, reactions. I do reverse rage bait, which works really well. Like today, I did the one about how they lied to me about Destiny 2, and you know that a bunch of people who hate Bungie clicked on that thinking that I was going to rant about Bungie, when instead I'm ranting about idiots on the internet who lied about how the game sucks and how um, it's not fun. There's nothing to do. I'm actually calling out the trolls who lied to me about Destiny 2 being a shitty game. But because it's a reverse rage bait article, they click and then within the first 90 seconds, they're like, "Oh god damn it, this guy actually likes the game. This sucks." But I got him anyway, and I got him for the engagement algorithm. It's great. Anyway, because I stick to new games these days, I know that pretty much every single month I'm going to play at least two, if not three new games. And if there's any dead space in there, I'll look for game demos, or I'll do reactions, first impression videos, reaction videos. And if I have a big enough gap, like in August, I'm going to have a pretty big gap, like a 2 week gap between um, Mafia: The Old Country and the Gears of War Reloaded, which is why I'm thinking I'm going to do a KOTOR replay in there, because it's like a 2 or 3 week gap in there, so that's enough time to actually do a full playthrough of that game. Um, but then like September, we've got Hell Is Us, Indiana Jones: The Great Circle DLC, and Borderlands 4. Like those three games are going to keep me busy all through the month of September. And then October, we got Ghost of Yotei at the beginning of the month. That'll take me a couple weeks to get through, and then I've got Outer Worlds 2 at the end of the month. So, I mean, October we're going to be pretty busy. There'll probably be a gap somewhere in the middle where I'll do something. But there's DLC still coming out for like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. We're waiting on a Starfield thing. We're going to get a bunch of news at Gamescom in August, so that'll fill up my November to December schedule. So, you know, I've been doing this long enough now where I just know that as long as I stay focused on new games, I will always continue to grow. I will always see net growth. I will always see this. I will always see good spikes around certain titles. Not all titles are going to see the same spikes, but generally speaking, by focusing on new games that are coming out, I'm always increasing my audience and increasing my stream numbers and just growing. And that's the most important thing that you can hope for at the end of any given day. But I do this full time, and I do put in the hours. Like it is 8 to 12 hours a day. I don't think I've ever actually only worked 8. It's always like 12 hours a day, sometimes more. I literally sit here at this desk outside of going for walks with my wife every day, doing some light exercise. I'm still getting over my leg injury. Um, you know, I'm here. Like every TV show we watch, I review on the channel. Every movie we watch, I review on the channel. Every game that I play, I review on the channel. We're doing this series on the channel. Um, like I'm plugged into the cockpit. Like this is my life. Games, films, TV shows, tabletop, and all things nerd. Like I get to do what I love, and so when you love what you do, it never feels like work, and I'm content to sit here and just do this all day because I'm having the time of my fucking life. So it's really hard to ever want to do anything else when my job kicks so much ass. So I'm happy to do these series, and hopefully provide inspiration to all of you who want to go out there and do the same. So stay tuned. I'll have another one tomorrow. Hopefully, I got you the answers you needed. Onwards and upwards to the next one, everybody. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily exchange at 4:35 a.m. Central, and the playlist for this series is down below with more videos.